Okay, let me shift gears because I want to spend some time on your new book, and before you leave us, tell us what you would do about Iran, or what you think, from your perspective, what policy should be. But getting back to your new book, Blow the House Down, before we talk about that, I have this Tom Hartman clip. It's only about 30 seconds long. I want to play this, and then he didn't follow up with the question. I'd like you to follow up and expand, because I was talking during the break, and you said, well, you have a nuanced view on this, that we don't know what's really going on with 9/11, and I want to flesh that out with you, but here's that clip.
So are you just, personally of the opinion, not obviously you can't speak for the CIA or your previous activities with the agency, but are you of the opinion that there was an aspect of inside job to 9/11 within the U.S. government?
There's that possibility. The evidence points at it.
And why is it not being investigated?
Why isn't the WMD story being investigated? Why hasn't anybody been held accountable for 9/11? We held people accountable after Pearl Harbor. Why has there been no change of command? Why has there been no political repercussions? Why has there been no any sort of exposure on this? It really makes you wonder.
Mr. Baer, can you expand on that statement?
Absolutely. The problem we have goes back to the 9/11 Commission report. We now have the current Minister of Interior in Doha, the state of Qatar, who protected Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. We also have there's several Americans that could have grabbed Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in 1996 when he was in Doha, who are now working for that government. There's been no explanation of how he got away, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the mastermind of 9/11. There's been no explanation why these American officials went to work for the same man, the Minister of Interior. And including, let's face it, Rudy Giuliani. He has enormous amount of contracts in Doha today with the same guy who protected Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. As a citizen, now speaking as a citizen, since I was not in the CIA at 9/11, I'd like to know what are those connections, and why is the Minister of Interior still in power? And he's given us no explanation of why he tipped off Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in 1996, who went on to do 9/11. Doesn't that disturb you?
Well, it does. Why hasn't there been an investigation? It's admitted, New York Times, Washington Post, BBC, that the head of Pakistani ISI wired $100,000 in the months before 9/11 to the supposed lead hijacker Mohammed Atta, and then for the second trip in his life, the head of Pakistani intelligence, General Mahmoud Ahmed, is meeting with all the heads of intelligence in a week-long trip leading up to the attack.
Exactly. I'm speaking as an American citizen, not as an official, and I'd like to know. And it disturbs me that these questions are not answered. We're not talking about some top-secret intelligence system that's going to be sources and methods that are going to expose. I just want answers. I want answers. What happened to the Iranian relationship with Osama bin Laden? Why is the Minister of Interior in Doha still in place? Why have the Pakistanis been unable to get near Osama bin Laden? Who's he hiding with? It's either just total incompetence on the part of our government or a conspiracy. And
have you heard the latest report that the fellow that made Super Size Me, it looks like, has actually gotten a meeting with bin Laden? Variety's now reporting that, quote, they got the Holy Grail and the Weinsteins bought it, and they're leaking that supposedly they've got bin Laden.
It's just amazing. And, what I don't want is the average American to lose confidence in his government, because ultimately we depend upon our government, and ultimately the government's benign. But by not answering these questions, we're leaving open, actually nutty conspiracy theories.
Mr. Baer, what does it look like to you when you've got, and this is confirmed, Associated Press, Newsweek magazine, I've talked to the officers involved, Mohammed Atta was trained at the Defense Language School, Monterey, California, in the year before 9/11. The dean of the school went public. Then they threatened him with court-martial, Colonel Butler. They were trained at all these bases. You've got the Nick Berg that got his head sawed off, reportedly in Iraq's laptop gets borrowed by the hijackers. Come on. I've interviewed U.S. embassy heads who were ordered to let the hijackers back in from their Malaysian terror summit, and were told, oh, no, the terror designation in the computer is their CIA cover.
I know. I mean, we know this. I mean, these guys were caught with a man who was indicted, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, in Malaysia meeting. We knew they were on their way to the United States. No one did anything, and there's been no accountability for.
What does this look like to you in your gut? What does it look like to you?
As an average American citizen, it looks like to me that something's being covered up, either for incompetence or for whatever reason. Now, on the other hand, my nuanced position is I've been in the middle of conspiracies for years, and you can never carry them out. But the point is, we have to address these questions. There has to be accountability. There has to be people who lose their jobs that are pointed out as if having made mistakes. But it's much worse than you think. You remember who Abu Zubaydah is?
Yes.
All right. I know the guy who went into the safe house, grabbed him. There was the shootout. He was wounded. They pulled him out of the car. Right. This isn't secondhand. This is firsthand information. They pull out of his pocket 2 credit cards. One goes to Saudi Arabia. One goes to Kuwait. The other thing they found in his safe house is cell phone bills that went up until 10 September, calls to the United States. The calls resumed on the 16th of September, and the CIA sent those calls in to the FBI. And you know where those bills are now? Lost.
Well, what about FBI agents that say they don't want to know how to land or take off, just how to fly a plane? We think they want to fly them into the World Trade Center, and they're told, shut up, you're off the case, over and over again.
Those guys got fired or demoted.
Yeah.
These are the kind of questions we need to answer. Where are those cell phone bills that were picked up in Faisalabad? I mean, who was he calling?
Well, Mr. Baer, here's the bigger question. Who has the motive? You've certainly heard about the Republican memos that are now public where they're saying we need another 9/11. That would help our agenda. Then they openly write editorials in the Philadelphia News about how great 9/11 was for America to unify us and how great another one would be. We have the PNAC document saying minus a huge catalyzing event, a terror attack, we're not going to be able to have Pax Americana. I mean, certainly it's now declassified. Gulf of Tonkin was staged. You know how they overthrew Mohammed Mossadegh by staging terror attacks and blaming it on him. I mean, has our criminal elements of our government, rogue elements, have they ever staged terror attacks before?
That's what I would like to know, wouldn't you?